All right, YouTube. So I'm here today in Mantua, Utah. I'm going to be hiking the Box Elder Creek Trail in the Uinta-Wasatch-Cache National Forest. That's a mouthful. Suggested route is 4.6 miles. 1,345 feet elevation gain, and it's a loop trail, so I will be walking in a loop and not retracing my steps, so I will get new views on the entire route. A little nervous about this one because I haven't climbed up 1,300 feet elevation in some time, seeing if I'm still capable, but I'm excited for the views here. Utah is definitely one of my favorite spots. Throughout my travels somewhere, I actually met someone who told me this story of Brigham Young, the guy who I believe founded the Mormon faith, but he walked upon an area in Utah and he said, this is it. This is, this is where we're going to stay because it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. That's a loosely told way of the story. Anyways, I understand what Brigham Young was talking about when he says the beauty that Utah has. So I can definitely understand that. So I actually wasn't paying attention at the beginning of the trail, and there was a split which I was supposed to go to the right. No biggies. I'm excited to see which views this route offers. Wonder if it's harder or easier than the original route. So I'm like in a sagebrush meadow right now. Beautiful with the mountains in the backdrop. Since the beginning of the hike, it has just been steadily uphill. So it's not one where it's like very steep. It's a very slight grade, but it has not stopped since I started walking. When that stops or gives up, I'll be pretty happy. But good cardio for today. Hiking the trail clockwise instead of counterclockwise, which the map was recommending. It's a loop trail, so it doesn't really matter too much that I'm hiking a different route because it's all one trail. Yeah, when it said 1,300 feet elevation gain, it meant it. It's just been an uphill climb, different grades of steepness. I like to think there's an art form to hiking up a mountain, and everybody has their own recipe and technique. And that's the thing, is you have to find out what yours is. This trail is very well maintained, nice clear trail. Shout out to the National Forest Service. Looks amazing. A lot of small rocks and a lot of loose gravel, so that's something to always be conscious of and make sure you don't slip, roll your ankle, because rolling your ankle out on a hike is way different than in the middle of a city, because sometimes that injury can be crippling and very painful. So make sure you're taking slow, methodical, and looking where you're stepping on the most solid ground you can find. I thought I was in pretty good shape, but the way I'm breathing right now has me thinking otherwise. One way that I'm able to feel so comfortable out in nature and out in the woods, and especially in national forest, is because I study a lot, I read a lot. Most times I'm reading multiple books at once about nature, regions, and different climates, because just here in America we have so many different climates, and you have to study top predators in each area that you travel to, because once you learn about the wildlife in each area, now you know how to react to it, and you're not surprised if you do stumble upon, let's say, a mountain lion when you're hiking through the Appalachian Mountains, or if you're in Colorado. So just about being safe, being prepared, always staying alert and staying calm out in nature. And doing your research pays off so much before you hit the trail, even just a routine trail. Because from your research, you become more aware of certain things, like certain flowers and certain birds that populate the area at this time of year, and it makes your hike much more enjoyable. At least it makes mine more enjoyable. Still climbing uphill. It has gave way for a little bit, so I did get a little rest from the constant climb, but we're headed back up. Grade is very slight. It's not too terrible, but it's just constant. I'm excited to see what this hike has in store. It's going to be to the top of a mountain or a peak where I can see mountain ranges. That's my favorite. When you get to a peak, you see mountain ranges for miles and miles. One of my favorite views. It's comforting once you do your research and you become familiar with the different climates here in the USA, because you realize that there's not too many predators or wildlife out here in North America that see you as a meal. It's comforting, and it's just about learning how to get out of the situation, because most of the time wildlife feels threatened just like you do. And the thing is, most wildlife will avoid you if given the chance. So that's why most of the times when you're out on the hike, you don't see too much, because they heard you coming for miles and they got out of the area. So it's just about being safe, being calm, following the steps and the proper protocol, and respecting wildlife. 9 times out of 10, you'll get out of it with your life and without any damage to your body. So I've been hiking for an hour now, and I've hiked a mile and a half, 730 feet elevation gain, and it has just been straight uphill, just constant. But I'm thankful to get a good workout in. I'm in a shape to do it. I always preach that doing your abs is so important, because I'm able to just constantly climb uphill like this, because when I do go to the gym, I make sure to hit abs. Make sure you have a strong base for when you're hiking on different terrains. Your body can adapt to the stress and the demand that you're putting on it. I've only seen 2 other groups, people, so not a lot of people here. Nice and quiet. You can hear the sounds of the forest. It's so relaxing. I love to listen to the wind. So I just stopped to hydrate, get some water, some tea, caffeine up. I've climbed 939 feet elevation gain so far, and in the near of my climb, according to all trails, we'll see. Especially since I'm hiking trail in a clockwise direction instead of counterclockwise. Utah is beautiful. You can see mountain ranges forever. So reading my terrain map and looking at the elevation gain, this is the highest point of the hike, and it is just gorgeous up here. Oh my God, man, I could sit out here for hours, days, weeks, years. You can see the moon, you can see mountain ranges as far as the eye can see. Oh man, it just gives you the chills. Utah is beautiful, let me tell you. And it's been cooler since I've been back here in the mountains. It's a heat wave out east, but that cool mountain air, oh man, I'm telling you, it feels so good. I've come to realize that mountain air is good for your spirit. Good to go breathe it in. I feel healthier every time I come down off a mountain. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in my head, but I'm sticking to it. So looking at my terrain map earlier, I was so excited to be going downhill and stop climbing uphill that I looked right over. I saw what I wanted to see. I misinterpreted a mountain range, so I had one more hill to climb up, and then we're headed downhill. So still hiking up higher, and it is just, oh man, it just keeps getting better and better. Oh man, these views. Woo! 1,277 feet elevation gain. I've been hiking for an hour and 40 minutes, including my breaks and whatnot, stopping for recording. I'm somewhere around 6,900 feet elevation. Started around 5,500 feet. Pretty good to hike up the side of a mountain. Now I have to descend 1,300 feet. Make sure my shoes are tied. Being back out west on the hiking trails, you see a lot of horse droppings. So a lot of people bring horses, and a lot of the hiking trails, which are accessible to hikers, are open to horses, ATVs, other things like that. So this trail is open to horses, and you see a lot of horse droppings. Quick tip, whenever you see someone riding a horse on a trail, always go downhill from the horse. You never want to climb up. You never want to go off the trail and go up and be elevated higher than the horse, because if that horse is walking by and sees you elevated, it's going to take you as a predator, something that's about to pounce on it. So always go on the downside hill of the trail and make sure the horse can see you, and the rider. Make sure everyone's on the same page, because the horses are very big, and sometimes these trails are very narrow, so they get very sticky very quickly. And whenever I'm out here in the national forest, less populated trails, parts of the trail that look like this are when you want to be most vigilant and make the most noise, where it's curvy and it's overgrown, where you can't see too far. Because you got to think, if you can't see too far, an animal can't see too far either, and they may be munching away on something, completely focused on something else in the middle of the trail, and not see you as soon as you come around the corner. And that's when most animals will get freaked out and you get put in a sticky situation. So times like this, always remember to make a lot of noise to alert the wildlife that you're coming, and keep your head up, stay aware of your surroundings. So later on in the hike, it's definitely starting to warm up a bit. Always remember to stop every 30 minutes to hydrate, eat a little something, so you can continue on your hike in a safe manner, not dehydrated or hungry, or food and water. Always keep that on the mind when you're outdoors. I am just in complete awe of the natural beauty that Utah has to offer. Definitely recommended that everybody at least get out and hike some, passing through Utah if you ever come to Utah, because man, it is worth it. At 1,300 feet elevation gain, so worth. Do it again right now just to see this again, the same exact view. So nearing the end of the hike, the descent was not bad, because just like going uphill, the grade is not too severe, so it's just a slight climb on the way down, so it's not bad at all. 10 out of 10 would recommend this hiking downhill. So hiking the trail in clockwise fashion was just as good, so great. Not too bad on the knees, and beautiful views both ways all around the loop. Utah is gorgeous. So it is pretty steep here at the end of the trail. Now I do see why it says hike that loop counterclockwise, because going downhill, it is very steep and very rocky, so this is like super dangerous. So I definitely would recommend hiking the trail the way that All Trails recommends, in a counterclockwise direction.
Luffy, you look Monkey D. Luffy, bro. The whole fit. Look at the fit. Hop in the camera. Like,
Look, hold on.